babes, if Mother's Day taught us anything, it's that absolutely nobody, and I mean literally nobody, can emotionally terrorize you, quite like family.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, good whenever, babes. Welcome back to the Snark side.
Babes, we have made it. We made it to the finale of Rooster, and we are fully spiraling right now.
I am unwell. I am physically, mentally, and spiritually exhausted.
Which is exactly why the frozen Aperol is currently on deck. We are heavily medicated by Italian liqueurs today, and let me tell you, it is such a vibe.
It's mandatory at this point. If you are listening to this right now, I highly suggest you, pause the show, go to your kitchen, blend some Aperol, Prosecco, a little ice, maybe a splash of orange juice if you're feeling domestic, and just get on our level.
It is the only way to heal, honestly. The frozen Aperol is a medicinal necessity today.
There's something about a frozen drink that just, numbs the deep emotional wounds.
Exactly. You drink a regular cocktail, and you're still feeling your feelings. You drink a frozen Aperol, and you get that instant brain freeze that just, hits pause on the trauma.
And babes, we desperately needed alcohol after the day we just had.
We truly did. It was an absolute assault on our nervous systems. We're coming to you live from the trenches of emotional warfare.
Because today was Mother's Day.
And yes, obviously, we went full spa mode in the morning. We really tried.
We tried to give off that serene, grateful, we love the women who birthed us as energy. We had the cucumbers on the eyes, the eucalyptus steam room, the plush robes.
The whole 9 yards. But babes, we cannot sit here and lie to Snark Squad. We have to talk about the gift chaos.
Because the Snark Squad deserves to know exactly how unhinged our day actually was before we even get into this TV drama.
The TV drama feels like a relaxing beach vacation compared to our real lives today.
Let's just set the stage. We thought, in our infinite, highly foolish wisdom, that it would be hilarious and cute to buy our moms matching Pandora bracelets.
It was supposed to be a bonding moment. I pictured it in my head like a Hallmark commercial,
Oh, the delusion.
They open the little white boxes, they gasp, they look at each other, they put them on, and suddenly we're all crying happy tears because our families are so connected.
Right. We even got the little charms that symbolize family and love. We really thought we were doing something.
We were doing something, all right. We were inciting a literal riot.
The moment those boxes clicked open, the energy in the room completely shifted. The temperature dropped 20 degrees.
They fully spiraled. It was immediate.
So fast.
My mom looked at the bracelet, then looked at your mom's bracelet, and the emotional damage was instantly visible on her face. She held it up by 2 fingers like it was like a biohazard.
And she literally said, matching, what are we, 12?
Yes. And then your mom chimed in.
Oh, my mom escalated it so fast, she didn't even pretend to be grateful for a millisecond. She just aggressively snapped the box shut and goes, I don't do charms. Charms are for people who don't have real jewelry.
I was dying.
I was sitting there, robe still on from the spa, holding my mimosa, just watching my life flash before my eyes.
I started emotionally hyperventilating.
Yeah.
I was like, but it's a symbol of our intertwined families. It's a metaphor.
A metaphor she did not want.
No. My mom just stared at me and said, I don't wear silver. I only wear yellow gold. You did this to spite me. Babes, she accused me of weaponized gifting.
It was a masterclass in psychological warfare. And then the absolute worst part happened.
Don't remind me.
They both, in unison, demanded that we take them to the mall on Mother's Day to return them.
The mall. On Mother's Day, it was like entering the Hunger Games. The parking lot alone took a year off my life.
At least a year. And we get to the Pandora store, and there's a line out the door of other traumatized families trying to buy last-minute gifts, and our moms just march right up to the front with their receipts.
Oh, they parted that line like the Red Sea.
And here is where my mom truly enters her supervillain era. The cashier offers her store credit or, to exchange it for a different bracelet. And my mom looks this poor, exhausted 19-year-old retail worker dead in the eyes and says, no, I want the straight cash. She already has more expensive jewelry.
I gasped out loud.
She referred to herself in the third person, and she took the cash. She basically abstracted a cash payout from us for surviving Mother's Day.
I was standing behind a display of Disney charms, physically shaking. But babes, my mom's demand was somehow even more chaotic.
It really was.
Because she didn't want the cash. She turned to me right there next to the Auntie Anne's pretzel stand in the food court and demanded that we dedicate an entire segment of our show to her.
An on-air public apology.
Yes. She wants a public apology and a tribute on the Snark side. I am not kidding. She wants the Snark Squad to know she was deeply wronged by silver jewelry.
It's just so much.
So, babes, We are asking you directly, are your parents insane? Because we are barely surviving ours right now.
Honestly, where was the camera crew? Because what we experienced at that food court was real reality television.
Oh, absolutely.
If Bravo had been following us around, that scene would be the season trailer.
Bravo needs to follow us immediately. We have peak Real Housewives energy. That Pandora return would be the explosive finale dinner.
The cash demand is such a housewife move. But honestly, TLC would also thrive on filming our families. They could call it matching meltdowns or like sister wives, but just the moms.
Oh my God, I would watch that. Though with the level of psychological manipulation our moms were deploying, HBO would probably turn this mess into an award-winning dark drama.
Right, think Succession, but instead of Waystar Royco, they are fighting over who gets the better seating arrangement at brunch.
Babes, I need another sip of this frozen April because honestly, this day was literally unhinged.
Yeah.
I'm taking a massive sip right now.
Same. But you know, this incredibly stressful, emotionally draining mall trip is actually the perfect primer for what we were about to discuss.
It really is.
Because the psychological warfare our mothers just deployed, that is the exact same blueprint Elizabeth Stoddard uses in the Rooster finale.
Oh, totally.
We are looking at a masterclass in toxic family systems, and Elizabeth is the undisputed dean of the department.
The emotional whiplash of surviving our own mothers, only to immediately watch Elizabeth terrorize her family on screen, was almost too much for my fragile nervous system.
It was a lot to process.
We need to dissect this finale, starting with the ultimate bad mother figure. Let's look at that family meeting. Because the brunch between Greg, Katie, and Elizabeth was, without exaggeration, the most uncomfortable meal I have ever witnessed on television.
Well, it was a masterclass in tension. Let's just break down the mechanics of this scene.
Please do.
They sit down at brunch, ostensibly to have a serious family intervention. The agenda is to confess to Katie that her parents secretly pulled strings to get her the job at Ludlow College in the first place.
Which is huge.
Huge. From a psychological standpoint, this is a massive revelation. It completely undermines Katie's professional confidence, which, as we know, is already incredibly fragile this season.
It shattered her. We
Yeah.
saw her confidence completely crack in the previous episode, and my heart was just bleeding for her.
She was a mess.
She really thought she earned this on her own merit, and finding out it was nepotism is devastating. So Greg is trying his absolute hardest to have a heartfelt, contrite moment.
He's really trying.
He's apologizing. He's acknowledging that he projected his own post-divorce pathetic slump onto her, and he's promising to set better boundaries.
Yeah.
He is doing the work.
He is. He is taking accountability. And what is Elizabeth doing during this emotionally fragile, highly vulnerable moment?
I can't even talk about it.
She is casually, and I mean so casually, gnawing on an orange slice.
You had the orange slice for me. I wanted to throw my remote at the screen. Who eats an orange slice like that during a family crisis?
It was wild.
It was so disrespectful. She's just sitting there completely checked out, treating this life-altering confession like a quick errand she had to squeeze in between a facial and a blowout.
Just another item on her to-do list.
She literally interrupts with these rude, unhelpful asides while Greg and Katie are trying to have a genuine breakthrough.
Let's analyze why she does that, though. It's not just bad manners. It's a deliberate psychological tactic. It's weaponized apathy.
Ooh, weaponized apathy. I love that term.
By gnawing on the orange slice, she is physically demonstrating to Greg and Katie that their emotional distress is not important enough to interrupt her snack.
Wow.
It is a grounding technique for narcissists. She's showing extreme physical comfort while others are in emotional turmoil. It subtly tells Katie, your crisis is boring to me.
That is so dark, but you were so right. And it gets worse. Right in the middle of this, she drops the bomb that she has to leave the brunch early.
So it bails on them.
Why? She has a meeting with Graham.
Yeah.
You know, Graham, the toothless college trustee. And Greg rightfully calls her out. He looks at her in disbelief and says, you double-booked a family crisis.
Which is such a brilliant line of dialogue because it highlights the sheer absurdity of her value system. To Elizabeth, a family intervention is just another calendar invite.
Exactly.
It holds the exact same weight as a coffee chat with a trustee.
And her response to Greg calling her out, babes, I paused the TV, I screamed.
And the delusion was real.
She hits him with this delusional confidence and says, oh no, we helped our kid too much. I think we're going to be fine. The audacity. The sheer, unadulterated audacity.
It perfectly encapsulates her character. She is completely allergic to accountability.
So allergic.
She reframes their gross overstep of boundaries as a cute, loving mistake. Oh no, we just love her too much. It completely invalidates Katie's very real feelings of professional inadequacy.
It's gaslighting.
It is. Elizabeth is polished, she's funny, but she is fundamentally selfish. And we thought her only appearance this season was just to gloat about the college naming the Elizabeth Stoddard Student Center after her.
Oh, we were so naive.
But no, she is playing chess while Greg is playing checkers. That meeting with Graham the trustee was not harmless networking.
No, it was a setup. Which leads us perfectly into the scene in Greg's apartment.
Let's get into it.
I was physically unwell watching this sequence. So Elizabeth decides to drop by Greg's place. And babes, she doesn't just walk in, sit down, and ask for a glass of water.
No, she has to mark her territory.
She walks over the hook in his living room, takes down the highly sentimental picture of their Italian vacation that Greg had hanging there, and replaces it with a framed picture of herself from Fortune magazine.
Let's talk about the psychology of interior design and territory marking here. When you enter an ex-partner's space, the normal social contract dictates that you are a guest.
Right, you sit on the couch and behave.
You respect the boundaries of their environment. Elizabeth taking down his sentimental photo and replacing it with her magazine cover is a blatant domination tactic.
It is so aggressive.
It is. She's replacing a shared sentimental memory, a time when they were a unit, with a monument to her own solitary corporate success.
She's basically erasing him.
She's essentially saying, the best thing that ever happened to you isn't our shared history, it's my current status. It is a profound violation of his space.
And then, after violating his interior decor, she tries to kiss him.
Which was so chaotic.
After a 5-year post-divorce slump where Greg was basically a walking ghost, wandering around like a depressed zombie, she just casually tries to swoop back in and kiss him.
She really thought she could just do that.
Babes, I was freaking out. I was shouting at the screen, Greg, be strong. Do not fall for the toxic ex trap. Step away from the Fortune magazine cover.
You were genuinely stressed. I could hear you yelling through the phone.
I was. Because we have watched Greg suffer for an entire season. We know how much she broke him and when he actually resisted the kiss.
Oh, that was a moment.
The character growth. I could have wept. He pulled back. He said no. He is finally healing.
It is a huge moment of growth for Greg. Absolutely. He breaks the cycle. But I want to push back on your interpretation of Elizabeth's motivations for a second.
Oh, okay, lay it on me.
You were screaming at Greg not to fall for her wanting him back, but her making a move on Greg wasn't about her actually wanting Greg back. She doesn't want him.
Wait, you don't think so? Then why try to kiss him in his own apartment?
Because she is a chaos monster.
Okay, fair.
She crosses boundaries purely for attention, control, and what psychologists call narcissistic supply. Think about the timeline.
Right.
She knows it took Greg literal years to get over her. She probably kept confusing things during that time, sending mixed signals just to keep him on the hook.
Ugh, the worst kind of ex.
She made a move in that apartment because she wanted to prove to herself that she still had the power to derail him. She wanted the ego boost of him crumbling at her feet.
Oh my God, you're right.
When he rebuffed her, that was the first real confirmation she had that he has finally escaped her gravitational pull. It wasn't romantic rejection, it was a loss of control.
Which she hates.
Exactly. And for someone like Elizabeth, losing control over a former subject is completely intolerable.
Okay, that makes it even darker. But you are so right. It was never about love. It was about checking if the leash was still attached. She just wants the power.
Always the power.
Elizabeth exerts power through professional sabotage and psychological domination. But she isn't the only toxic ex in this show.
No, she is not.
Archie's manipulation is entirely emotional, and it is just as damaging. Like mother, like daughter, honestly. Both Katie and Greg are dealing with incredibly charismatic, incredibly toxic partners.
It's genetic at this point.
We have to talk about Archie, because the love triangle finally imploded, and I need to process this mess.
Let's process the total collapse of Archie, because honestly, my least favorite part of the entire season has been this Archie, Katie, and Sunny triangle. It felt drawn out.
It did drag a bit.
But I have to admit, the way the writers resolved it in the finale was deeply satisfying because it exposed Archie for exactly who he is.
It started with the most unhinged romantic epiphany in television history. Archie decides he needs to fully commit to Katie.
Right.
Now, normally, a character reaches this conclusion through, like, a deep soul-searching therapy session, or a profound moment of self-reflection. But not Archie.
Of course not.
Why does Archie choose Katie? Because he's inspired by Mikhail Gorbachev.
I could not roll my eyes hard enough at this sequence. Let's just unpack the sheer pretension here.
Please.
Archie is agonizing over his messy love life, a mess he created by cheating, mind you, and he thinks about Mikhail Gorbachev.
As one does.
He recalls the historical anecdote that Gorbachev's critics supposedly worried he loved his wife, Raisa, more than he loved his country. And when Raisa died, Gorbachev released an album of romantic songs called Songs for Raisa.
Which, not coincidentally, is the title of this finale episode.
Exactly.
I mean, babes, is this what counts as romance for intellectuals? Archie is making life-altering, marriage-defining decisions based on random 1980s Soviet history.
It's exhausting.
It's so performative, he's intellectualizing his own bad behavior so he feels like a tragic romantic hero instead of just a guy who cheated on his wife with his grad student.
That is exactly it. It is such an incredibly Archie way to reach a romantic decision. It's self-flattering, it's overly intellectual, and it completely misses the point.
Totally misses it.
Raisa Gorbachev was a highly educated, fiercely independent woman who functioned as an equal partner to her husband. Archie projecting this epic historical romance onto Katie is laughable because Katie isn't his equal partner. She is a former student whose career he actively complicated.
Ooh, yes.
He is rewriting his sleazy affair as a historical epic to soothe his own fragile ego.
It is delusion at its finest. But he makes his choice. Fueled by Soviet nostalgia, he smooshes Katie in a file room, and then he decides he has to do the right thing and tell Sonny.
Oh, yes, the breakup, the cowardly breakup.
Oh, Sonny. Babes, I was devastated for her. I really was. Because he dumps Sonny, his pregnant girlfriend, right before she is supposed to fly home to Wisconsin for the holidays.
The timing is unbelievably cruel.
And let's not forget, she turned down a massive job in New York City for him. She put her entire career, her entire life, on hold because they did a drive-by viewing of a house together.
Now, hold on. I need to throw a little bit of shade here. We have to look at this objectively.
Oh, there you go. I knew the shade was coming.
I am sorry for Sonny, yes. It is awful to be dumped, especially when you are pregnant. And Archie's delivery of the news was sickening.
It was so gross.
The mournful, soft way he said, "I'm not going to be there, darling," when she gave him one last chance to make their 8 a.m. flight. Disgusting. It was textbook emotional cowardice. But
Or what?
Sonny is not entirely a victim here. Sonny knew he was married.
Oh, the shade is hot today.
I'm just saying. Let's talk about the ethics of her choices. She got involved with her married professor. She knew from day one that he was fundamentally untrustworthy.
That's true.
If he will cheat with you, he will cheat on you. And it boggles my mind that an otherwise intelligent woman thought this man was going to fully commit to her based on looking at a house from the street.
A house they didn't even go inside.
She engaged in her own form of future faking. She let herself plan an entire life around a vague promise from a man who was clearly too weak to keep it.
Okay, that is a fair point. The red flags were waving, and Sonny chose to knit them into a beautiful, tragic sweater.
Very tragic sweater.
But I still felt the emotional exhaustion in her performance. When she tells him he's choosing the wrong path, she is chillingly accurate. She has every right to be furious that she wasted her time on a man who uses Gorbachev to justify his infidelity.
Absolutely.
And the way Mo steps up.
Mo is the MVP of that entire storyline. Mo is the only adult in the room.
Yes, because Archie, being the absolute coward that he is, realizes later that he screwed up with Katie and tries to pivot back to his second best option.
He always needs a backup plan.
He tries to run back to Sonny at the apartment to catch her before she leaves for the airport.
And Mo had already gotten her on an earlier flight.
Mo basically said, "Not today, Satan," and shipped Sonny back to Wisconsin early to protect her peace.
I cheered.
Archie is left standing there, high and dry, when he was hoping for this tragic romantic goodbye scene at the door where he could beg for forgiveness. He got completely played by Mo, and revenge is so sweet.
It really is. Archie wanted the cinematic moment of running through the airport or crying at the door, and Mo denied him the audience.
Thank goodness.
But we skipped over the best part of this entire sequence. The reason Archie comes running back to Sonny in the first place is because Katie finally drops him.
Yes. The catalyst.
And the catalyst for this massive life-changing divorce. The thing that finally breaks the spell. A piece of spinach.
The spinach ick. Babes, this was the most relatable moment of television I have seen all year. It was brilliant.
So good.
So they are at the Elizabeth Stoddard Student Center, grabbing a bite to eat. And Katie looks across the table, and Archie has a piece of spinach stuck in his teeth.
Just a little green leaf.
And you hear Greg's voiceover playing, talking about how one little thing can wake a character up and change a life.
It's a brilliant visual gag, but it's also deeply rooted in psychology. Katie gets the ultimate irreversible ick.
The ick is fatal.
She abruptly leaves the table, tracks him down later in an empty lecture hall, and asks for a divorce. Now, on the surface, divorcing a man over a vegetable seems insane, but let's look deeper.
Yes, let's. Because I was reading the Reddit threads after the episode aired, and the fans were going wild over this. There was this one user who posted this incredible theory, comparing the spinach moment to their own real-life breakup.
Oh, I saw that thread. The Oppenheimer breakup theory is fascinating.
Yes. The Reddit user said the argument itself was trivial, just a disagreement over the pacing of the movie Oppenheimer or something. But it was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right, it's never really about the movie.
Exactly. The way the ex argued about the movie made the user realize that their partner never actually cared about understanding their point of view. The partner lacked cognitive empathy.
Cognitive empathy, yes.
The spinach is the exact same thing. It wasn't about the literal leafy green in his bicuspid. It was clarity.
The veil was lifted.
Katie suddenly realized that Archie is always going to have spinach in his teeth, metaphorically speaking. He is always going to be sloppy, he's always going to be unreflective, and he is always going to expect her to gently point out his flaws and clean up his messes.
Exactly. The ick is essentially an evolutionary disgust response that transfers from the physical to the social.
Oh, that's deep.
She realizes that she only took him back because it was the path of least resistance. It was familiar. He was the devil she knew. But seeing that spinach, seeing him oblivious to his own mess, she finally understood that he will always give her that sinking feeling of disappointment.
Always.
A marriage built on old charm and fresh disappointment is not a marriage. It's a hostage situation.
Wow. Yes. And when he tries to guilt trip her in that lecture hall, the absolute nerve of this man.
He couldn't help himself.
He actually tries to throw his problems in her face, whining about how he sabotaged his relationship with Sunny to be with her. Like that is somehow Katie's fault.
Narcissism at its finest. Look at the mess I made for you. Why aren't you grateful?
But Katie delivers the absolute mic drop of the season. She looks at him, totally calm, and says, "I don't need you to make me feel special because I already am."
Such a good line.
"Mabes," I screamed. I stood up in my living room and I cheered. It is exactly the lesson Greg has been trying to teach her all season.
It's the payoff for all of Greg's clumsy, overbearing parenting. Katie chooses divorce not as a defeat, not as a tragedy, but as an act of profound self-respect.
And Archie is left totally, completely, and deservedly alone in that empty lecture hall. No Katie, no Sunny, just his Gorbachev delusions.
I love that for him. I really, truly do.
But babes, after Katie frees herself from the dead weight of Archie, the finale pivots to Greg finding his own freedom. Because while Katie is having her awakening, Greg is spiraling.
He's going through it.
Greg thinks he's ruining Katie's life by being at Ludlow, so he has decided to pack up and move back to his lonely, miserable existence in Florida.
Right. He's trying to do the noble martyr thing. He thinks stepping out of her life entirely is the only way she'll thrive.
It's so sad.
So he's going on this quiet little goodbye tour around campus, trying to fade away.
He goes to Art's diner.
Yeah.
And he just expects to have a quick plate of fries and say a quiet goodbye to Tommy. And babes, can we talk about Tommy for a second?
And we must talk about Tommy.
Because Tommy finally passed his class. He turned in the final draft of his chapter, and Greg tells him it's the best essay in the class.
The character growth for Tommy, played by Maximo Salas, has been one of the quiet, consistent highlights of the season.
So good.
It's a genuine mentorship. When Tommy says, "You changed my life," and Greg responds, "You changed your life," it is a little cheesy, I will admit.
A little bit.
But Steve Carell makes it feel so lived in and earned. It highlights the positive impact Greg has had on this ecosystem.
It was beautiful. So Greg walks into Art's diner expecting just Tommy, and surprise, it's a massive surprise party.
Everyone is there.
Dylan is there. And side note, Danielle Deadweiler is playing that slow burn attraction to Greg so perfectly. Coach Jake is there, Crystal is there, the students, the hockey team.
Even the people who make the hot chocolate he's always buying are there. It was a very sweet, ensemble affirming moment.
It really was.
It represents the concept of the third space, a community hub where people gather outside of work and home. Art's Diner is where Greg built his chosen family.
It was like a warm holiday hug. Which is wild because it's a Christmas party episode airing in May.
TV scheduling is weird.
Yeah. But I didn't even care. The light snow was falling outside the diner window, and yes, I know a Reddit user pointed out the snow looked distractingly fake, but I was still romanticizing it.
Let yourself have the romance.
And Greg gives this tearjerker speech. He talks about how, for the first time in his life, he actually feels like he belongs somewhere. He isn't just following his ex-wife or shadowing his daughter. He found his chosen family.
From a narrative structure standpoint, this scene justifies keeping Greg in stasis for most of the season. We needed him to feel unmoored, to wander around campus looking lost, so this anchor point felt earned.
It definitely felt earned.
But the writers don't let him enjoy it for long. The real plot twist happens after the party.
Yes. Katie walks Greg home from the diner, and she casually drops the bomb that she has officially dumped Archie for good.
Such a casual bomb drop.
And Greg is ecstatic, obviously. But then she gives Greg permission to stay at Ludlow. She tells him point blank that he isn't ruining her life, and she wouldn't mind if he stayed for another semester.
Which is all Greg needed to hear, the permission of his child.
Exactly.
He immediately calls Walt to reverse his resignation. He wants to stay. He wants to keep his new friends, his job, and his proximity to his daughter. He is finally choosing his own happiness.
But Walt drops the ultimate bombshell.
Well?
Walt reveals that Elizabeth didn't just come to town for a building dedication.
Oh.
She didn't just come to double book a brunch. She swooped in, schmoozed the trustees like Graham behind the scenes, and stole Walt's job. Elizabeth Stoddard is the new president of Ludlow College.
I absolutely reveled in this drama. It is a brilliant setup for season 2. Walt is a man who has dedicated his life to this school, and Elizabeth just snatched his job on a whim. Why? Because she wanted power over the very environment that Greg and Katie just claimed as their own. She is officially positioned as the big bad for the next season.
And the final moment of the episode, Greg hears this news. He looks at that framed Fortune magazine picture.
Well,
Elizabeth hung on his wall, the symbol of her dominance, and he rips it perfectly in half.
it was cinematic.
Babes, he has officially entered his unbothered era. He is staying at Ludlow, and he is ready to go to war with his ex-wife.
It's a great closing image. He isn't just staying for Katie anymore. He's staying because he refuses to let Elizabeth decorate his life, literally or figuratively, ever again.
Yeah.
Now, Greg's personal growth has a professional enemy attached to it. It's excellent television structure.
It truly is. Okay, babes, we have recapped the chaos, we have analyzed the psychology, but now it is time to judge it. It is time for segment 1, most unhinged behavior.
I love this game. We have to debate who spiraled the hardest in this finale, and the contenders are strong.
So strong.
We have Archie for thinking a Gorbachev anecdote fixes cheating on your wife. We have Elizabeth for stealing a man's job while pretending to be at a family intervention. And we have Katie for letting a piece of spinach finalize her divorce.
Okay, I have to defend Katie immediately. The spinach was not unhinged.
I knew you would say this.
As we discussed with the Oppenheimer Reddit theory, the spinach was a metaphor. It was clarity. It was the universe providing a visual aid for Archie's sloppy soul.
Okay.
I think walking away from a toxic marriage because of a leafy green is actually the most mentally healthy thing anyone did in this entire episode. It is profound self-awareness.
I hear you, but from a purely objective standpoint, finalizing a legal divorce because you saw a vegetable between a man's bicuspids is chaotic behavior. It just is.
Yeah.
You can dress it up in metaphor all you want. You can talk about cognitive empathy. But you look at the paperwork, she dumped him over a salad ingredient.
It was the straw that broke the camel's back. You were being too literal, but okay, fine. If we're talking truly unhinged, it has to be Archie. The Gorbachev thing was so pretentious. He literally sat there and thought, ah, yes, the fall of the Soviet Union. This perfectly parallels my inability to keep my pants zipped around my grad student.
It's sick.
It is a level of narcissism that borders on clinical delusion. He actually thought that story would make him look good.
Archie is definitely delusional, but I have to give the crown for most unhinged behavior to Elizabeth. Hands down.
Really? Worse than using Soviet history to justify an affair.
Yes, because Archie is just a messy, selfish guy ruining his own life through incompetence. Elizabeth is a calculated predator ruining other people's lives for sport.
Okay, point taken.
Think about the sequence of events. She flies in, she sits down at brunch with her ex-husband and daughter to discuss a deeply sensitive family secret. She eats an orange slice to establish dominance. She announces she double-booked them with a college trustee.
The hit list.
She leaves, replaces a sentimental photo with her own magazine cover, tries to seduce her ex to check his leash, gets rejected, and then casually usurps the career of a beloved college administrator.
When you lay it out like that, yeah, that is supervillain behavior.
It's unhinged because she doesn't even need the job. She's already successful. She did it just because she wanted to assert dominance over Greg's new safe space.
No, toxic.
She is the apex predator of Ludlow College now. Archie is a clown. Elizabeth is an assassin.
Okay, I concede.
Huh.
Elizabeth takes the crown. The calculated cruelty wins. Which leads us perfectly into segment 2. Could this family survive reality TV?
This is my favorite segment.
Babes, we love crossing our streams here on the Snark side. If we took the characters of Rooster and dropped them into the Bravo, TLC, or HBO reality universes, who survives and who gets absolutely destroyed?
Let's start with Bravo because we both know exactly who would thrive there.
Elizabeth Stoddard is pure, uncut Real Housewives energy. She would be the anchor of the franchise.
100%.
She would sit on those reunion couches wearing a stunning jewel-toned gown, and she would psychologically destroy every other woman on the cast without ever raising her voice.
She wouldn't even need to yell. She would just look at someone like Archie and say something quietly devastating about his bank account or his receding hairline.
Yes.
Her tagline would be something like, "I don't hold grudges, I just buy the building you work in."
Oh my God, yes. Some people collect art. I collect ex-husbands in college presidencies.
Yeah.
She would be terrifying.
Andy Cohen would be obsessed with her. She'd have the first chair at every reunion.
But who gets canceled immediately on Bravo?
Archie, without a doubt.
Right.
Archie would walk onto a Bravo show thinking he is the charming British Hugh Grant type. He would try to flirt with the cameras. He would think he could outsmart the audience.
He would be so wrong.
But Bravo fans are basically FBI agents.
They really are.
The Bravo sleuths on Twitter would uncover his messes within 2 episodes. They would find the receipts. They would find Sonny's ultrasound pictures. They would find his deleted text messages to his grad students. They would find out his classes are boring and getting canceled.
He would be exposed as a fraud at the first dinner party.
He would get a drink thrown in his face by episode 3. Someone would scream, "You don't even know Gorbachev," and toss a martini at him.
He would not survive the reunion. He would be sweating through his tweed suit while Elizabeth slowly dismantled his entire life.
And who are the secret fan favorites? The ones the reality TV audience fiercely protects.
It has to be Greg and Walt. They are the awkward, wholesome dads of the franchise.
Oh, totally.
The fans would make fan cams of Greg buying Dylan an electric bike. They would protect Walt at all costs. If Elizabeth came for Walt on reality TV, the fans would organize a boycott of her Fortune magazine issue.
They really would. The viewers always attach themselves to the beleaguered, nice guy side characters. Greg making his hot chocolate wrens would be a viral TikTok trend.
Okay, speaking of trauma and reality TV, let's move to segment 3, Mother's Day trauma rankings.
Babes, we have to rank the chaos of this finale against the real-life trauma we survived at the mall today. Let the healing begin. Category 1, most dramatic mom. Who takes it? Elizabeth stealing a college presidency, or our real moms having a meltdown over mashing Pandora bracelets in a mall food court?
Babes, I am gonna say my mom is worse.
Are you serious? Elizabeth committed corporate espionage against her ex-husband's best friend.
Yes, but Elizabeth did it quietly, behind closed doors. My mom demanded an entire public apology on our show while standing next to an Auntie Anne's pretzel stand.
Okay, the pretzel stand was a low point.
She publicly shamed me in front of teenagers buying Disney charms. Elizabeth is playing 3D chess for power. My mom is playing emotional terrorism for sport. I think the public humiliation factor makes the Pandora meltdown slightly more traumatic.
I have to strongly disagree. I will argue that Elizabeth is worse because the collateral damage is higher.
Is it?
Yes. Our moms just ruined our Sunday and cost us a few $100 in cash payouts. Elizabeth is about to ruin the entire academic ecosystem of Ludlow College. She's going to fire people. Walt is out of a job.
Okay, valid point. Institutional trauma beats food court trauma. Barely.
Yeah.
Next category, most emotionally exhausting moment. For me, it was absolutely Sunny.
I agree with that. Sunny realizing she threw away a New York City job, stalled her entire life, got pregnant, and then got dumped with a casual, "I'm not going to be there, darling." That is an exhausting level of betrayal.
It really is.
You could see the fatigue in Lawrence's eyes. It was a deep, soul-crushing exhaustion.
I just wanted to wrap her in a blanket and put her on that plane to Wisconsin myself.
Yeah.
Mo is an angel for stepping in. And finally, biggest overreaction.
This one is easy. Greg.
Oh, 100%.
Greg almost moving back to a lonely, miserable existence in Florida just because he thought he was ruining Katie's life.
It was such a dad overreaction. Oh, I intervened a little too much. Guess I'll just pack my bags, abandon my new friends, leave my dream job, and go rot in a swamp.
So dramatic.
But Greg, babes, just take a step back. You don't have to nuke your entire life.
It's that martyr complex we discussed earlier. He thought the only way to help Katie was to completely erase himself from the narrative, which, as Katie pointed out, is ridiculous.
Totally ridiculous.
She literally just said, I don't mind if you stay, and that was all it took to cancel his massive life-altering move.
Thank God for that surprise party at Art's Diner for waking him up to the fact that he actually has a life at Ludlow.
Okay, babes, we have reached our final segment, segment 4, finale delusion check.
Time to check in with ourselves.
This is where we bring it back to us, and to you, the Snark Squad. We all need to do a reality check after this weekend.
I'll start. My most unhinged thought from this weekend. While my mom was demanding straight cash from the cashier at Pandora, I actually had a fleeting thought of, maybe I should buy her a tennis bracelet to fix this.
No. Babes, you did not.
I did. For a split second, my brain was so broken by the trauma that I thought rewarding her bad behavior with diamonds would restore the peace. I almost tapped my credit card for a third piece of jewelry. I was in a state of pure delusion. That is deeply chaotic. I'm so glad you stopped yourself.
Me too. What about you?
My most unhinged thought was actually about Archie. When he gave that Gorbachev speech, for like 2 seconds, I thought, wait, is that romantic?
Oh, no.
I know. I actually let his British accent and his tweed jacket briefly convince me that comparing your marriage to a dead Soviet leader's album was a cute gesture. The delusion jumped out. I had to slap myself.
We all have weak moments. But what is one thing you need to recover from after this episode and this weekend?
I need to recover from the emotional whiplash of Archie's audacity. The way he went from kissing Katie in a file room to dumping Sonny to running back to Sonny's apartment when Katie dumped him.
The pivoting was extreme.
The sheer speed of his emotional pivoting gave me whiplash. I need a neck brace. What about you?
I need to recover from the image of Elizabeth gnawing on that orange slice. It is burned into my retinas. It was such a specific, visceral acting choice by Connie Britton, and it deeply unsettled me.
It was so upsetting.
And one thing I am absolutely avoiding this Monday, checking my bank account. Between the spa, the frozen Aperol ingredients, and paying my mom cash reparations for a silver bracelet, I cannot look at the numbers. The numbers will hurt me.
Oh, I'm deleting my banking app entirely. And the one thing I'm avoiding this Monday is talking to any men who act even remotely like Archie.
A wise choice.
If a man tries to quote history to me to excuse why he didn't text me back, blocked. If a man has a single fleck of spinach in his teeth, blocked. I am protecting my peace.
As you should. The spinach is a powerful diagnostic tool.
Babes, what a journey. We survived Mother's Day, we survived the mall, and we survived the Rooster finale. Thank you to the Snark Squad for sitting in the trenches with us today. We literally could not do this without you.
Truly, you guys are the only reason we haven't completely lost our minds.
So we have to ask you directly. Babes,
Yeah.
Are your families as chaotic as ours? What is the wildest Mother's Day drama you experienced today?
Tell us everything.
Did anyone else end up at a mall food court fighting over charms? And honestly, give it to us straight. Were our moms valid for the Pandora bracelet meltdown? Did we mess up by buying them matching silver? We need your unfiltered opinions in the comments.
Don't hold back. We can take it. And while you're down there, remind yourselves to like, comment, and subscribe to the Snark Side. We thrive on your validation.
We really do. And please, send in your messy family stories. We want to read them on the next chat. We want to know that we are not alone in this delusion.
We never are. There is always more mess to unpack. Wait, I have one final thought before we go. We spent all this time talking about the spinach being the thing that woke Katie up. But think about Greg ripping that photo of Elizabeth in half.
Oh, a powerful moment.
He tore a literal picture of success and power down the middle to reclaim his own space. My question for the Snark Squad to mull over this week is this. What is the Fortune magazine photo in your own life? What is the monument to someone else's ego that you are currently allowing to hang on your wall just because it's always been there? And what would happen if you finally just ripped it in half?
I love that. Until next time, babes, stay dramatic, stay delusional, and we will see you on the Snark Side.